Hey, so I have not shot a video in a minute, but I felt really compelled to share this story. Today, as many of I've been packing because I'm moving, and I was packing up the kitchen, and in the pantry, like tucked away all the way towards the back, I found some things that belonged to my oma, my grandmother, and she's passed on. She passed away, probably about 7 years ago, and it just really brought back a lot of fond memories. I don't think I have any negative memories about my oma. She was just amazing. She was such a good, just a positive influence on me. She taught me so much, as a woman. But anyways, the reason why I'm sharing this story is because I I know that this will help someone right now, or it will help you all in the future, because it is evident that we are going to have to deal with death, death of a loved one. And it's very difficult, to go through. And, we all handle these things differently, some better than others. And when I started to think about my grandmother, I thought about a story that my mom told me right before she passed away that has really brought me just some great solace, and just it just had made it makes me feel better, knowing exactly where she's at, you know. And when I was thinking about all of this, it actually reminded me of one of my friends. And I'm gonna message you to make sure that you listen to this, because I know that you've had a very difficult time with your mother passing away some months ago. So I hope that this resonates and it helps you, be able to, move forward, to know, that your mother is in good hands and that she is happy right now. So anyways, my grandmother, she was in hospice. And like I said, I was in Miami. It happened pretty quickly. So I actually did not have time to get back to Colorado to see her. And, my mother called me, or someone called me. I don't remember who called me, and told me that my Oma had passed away. And, I was so heartbroken. And I remember just, I was by myself. I was on the floor and I was just crying, and I was just praying, and I was like, God, like, I was just so concerned about where she was at, And in that moment, God spoke to me and said, she's with me. And it just made my heart just, I was able to breathe. So I remember calling my mom the next day and telling her what God had spoke to me about. And then she told me this story. So my grandmother was in hospice, and my mom was visiting her. She's always, she always stayed with her. But this time it was just my mother. And my mother went to go to the cafeteria, and my grandmother was actually in a vegetative state. So, if you're not aware of what that is, she was not functioning. She wasn't speaking. She wasn't awake. She was just basically hooked to these machines, and they were, preserving her basically. So my mother goes to the cafeteria, and she comes back, and before she walks into the room, she hears voices. So she figures someone came to visit. So she kind of peeks around the corner in the door, and she sees my grandmother propped up, like sitting up with her eyes closed, and is having a conversation, and there's no one in the room. And she starts to talk to my aunts that have passed away, my great aunts that have passed away. And these are her sisters. And she's saying, no, I can't believe it's like that. It's really like that? No way. And her sisters came to her to tell her what heaven was like. They came to prepare her. And as my mom was watching this, she said that she was just so amazed. Her mouth just dropped. She was just so amazed. And then my grandmother passed away. And my mom was just so grateful that God gave her that moment. it gave her closure, knowing where my grandmother was going, and knowing that she was going to be okay. And just the fact that God loves us so much that he gave that to my mother, because he knew that it was going to be hard, because they were very close. You know, I just heard something recently. I don't know where I heard. I'm sorry about that. My recording got interrupted because I got a phone call. So what I was trying to say is, I don't remember what show this was on, or who said it, but he was basically talking about what it's like for our loved ones who have passed on, watching us heal and try to move forward in the process of letting go. And he starts talking about this story. And the story goes that there's a group of children that have passed on, and they're in a circle with God. And God every day gives them a lit candle. And everyone is in this circle, they're holding their candle, and they're smiling and they're happy. But there's this one little girl who is given a lit candle, but every day at some point in the time that they're sitting together, it always goes unlit, and she looks sad. So one of the children says to her, "Why is it that your candle is lit initially, but as time goes on, you know, your candle goes unlit and you look really sad?" And the little girl says, I can't stay happy because I'm watching my mother suffer, because she can't let go of me. She can't let go of the guilt. She can't let go of her pain. And I just want her to be happy. I can't be happy here if she's not able to move on. I just want her to know that I'm in a better place. I'm in the best place that a person can be. And I'm not suffering, I'm not in pain, I'm at peace, I'm in happiness, and she needs to do the same. I think that, you know, it's so difficult for us to understand that and to grasp that, because we're dealing with our own pain and our own hurt. But if we refocus and we put the focus on the actual person that we're hurting over, and we see that they are living on and they're living victoriously and happily, that kind of allows us to move on, knowing that they're happy. So what they really want for us is us to continue, you know, to have goals, continue to be there, you know, for the family that's the existing family that's still here. They want us to live our lives. So I really hope that kind of puts things into perspective, and helps, you know, maybe whoever is suffering right now to be able to move on, and to live, you know, a happy life, because it certainly is a choice. So God bless, guys.